Much, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I also rise to speak on this highly commendable motion that's been brought forward by the member for Hammond to highlight such an important part of our community. And I know this is an issue of real importance to the member for Hammond, so thank you for bringing it to the House member. And indeed, sir, our community would be nothing without our veterans, and it is right and proper that we should always express our deep gratitude for them, for their service, for protecting our freedoms and our nation over a century, since the creation of the Australian Defence Force. Ex-service organisations are an integral part to our wider communities and provide an important space for our ex-service personnel. While these organisations have been at the front of our minds recently, with our recent ANZAC Day commemorations just past, it is vital that we continue to recognise their work and support the organisations all year round. And I'd like to pay and make mention of some of the fantastic veteran outreach work that occurs in my community. And this primarily happens through the Blackwood RSL, the Mitcham RSL, the Colonel Light Gardens RSL, and the RAF Association Mitcham branch. Each group is run by dedicated veterans and volunteers who commit their time and effort to ensuring local veterans have a welcoming place to support them in the life after serving the Australian people. And I think more importantly, as well as many of our World War II veterans, of those who are still with us, are now well into their 90s, providing welfare and well-being for those veterans is so important, and certainly residents at Myrtle Bank on the edge of my community certainly appreciate that. But the welfare and well-being across the board is such an important connection for these people. And I'm honoured to be the patron of the Blackwood RSL and regarded as an absolute privilege to be able to spend time there with local veterans and volunteers and hear their stories and continuously work with the volunteers to promote the good work of the RSL. For all RSLs this year, ANZAC Day services presented a tough challenge in the world of COVID-19 restrictions. COVID-19 directions meant local RSLs had further administrative steps to deal with and costs to incur when attempting to organise this year's services. With my office working closely with the Blackwood RSL for their dawn service arrangement, I know firsthand how difficult it was for every RSL across the state. There was a lot to organise: fencing, COVID management plans, QR codes, traffic management plans, road closures, indeed to sign-in sheets. In the case of Blackwood RSL, finding 25 COVID marshals to volunteer their time at 5 a.m. in the morning. All that hard work came to fruition when, at dawn, on the morning of Sunday, 25th April this year, thousands of local residents and veterans gathered together at the Soldiers' Memorial at Blackwood Roundabout to commemorate their ultimate sacrifice of those whose name is on the statue of the soldier and the service of our veteran community over the last 121 years. It was a solemn occasion when many local ex-service organisations were represented, along with local schools. A particularly moving part of the service was the contributions by local school children who spoke about the importance of ANZAC Day and what the day meant to them. My thanks go to all who volunteered their time to ensure this service was safe and one that met with COVID restrictions and requirements. And a big thank you to the volunteers of the RSL, led by President Phil Cotton in his first year as President of the Blackwood RSL. Sturt SES volunteers, Blackwood Hire, to the Quirk family there, thank you very much. City of Mitcham, St John Ambulance, Blackwood Scout Group, Coromandel Community Centre, Blackwood Lions, Coromandel Valley Rotary Club, and so many others, and including local residents and members of other groups. I also had the privilege of laying a wreath at the Upper Sturt Soldiers Memorial Hall service later that day, and thank you to Dr John Halsey and the whole committee for a wonderful service of commemoration there, and that service of commemoration led by retired Colonel Moose Dunlop OAM. And whilst I wasn't able to attend the Mitcham RSL Dawn service, which was a much smaller service this year, it was an honour for Mr Wally Bill OAM, a decorated World War II veteran, and Mr Jeff Hatswell from the Mitcham RAF Association, who laid a wreath on my behalf and on behalf of the community of Waite at the Mitcham RSL. And a big thanks to Dr Robert Black AM from the RAF Association Mitcham branch for his assistance in organising this. As touched on by a few other members in this contribution today, the REPAT in my community plays a big part and an important role in supporting veterans and their families, and has done for many, many years. And indeed, it is the veterans community who slept on the steps of Parliament House for night upon night upon night, week upon week upon week, and the tens of thousands of South Australians who signed a petition to ensure that the REPAT didn't close. Unfortunately, the former Labor government did close the REPAT, and I think that will forever be a great shame to that party and for those under their watch who presided over the closure of the REPAT. But it is fantastic to see that the Liberal government at the moment is reactivating the REPAT with a lot of work from the community, and it's fantastic to see that progress in that reactivation. We're seeing a new dementia care facility being unveiled, and that's going to create a lot of jobs at the moment. But more importantly, in terms of supporting veterans, is of course the opening of the newly refurbished wards for patient care, and the opening of the Veterans Wellbeing Centre in the old SBF Hall, which has been so important to ANZACs, to ANZAC commemorations that happened at the REPAT, but to the veteran community, especially the Vietnam veteran community, and just to thank people such as Titch Tyson, who does so much work from the Plimpton Veterans Wellbeing Centre to support veterans in our community. And as so many other members have said, it's important that we support our veterans. We ask them to go above and beyond the call of duty to protect our nation, and I support the motion before the House.